Hi, this is Isabel Letzler. Welcome to my channel. So today I want to give you some tips on basically what type of careers to pick long term. I get a lot of comments under my different videos. People are a bit confused into what to do with their lives, what to do with their careers, and what is going to be a viable option. Because again, I think we need to separate what we like and what the market needs. This is something I keep repeating here, but it's so important. There's so many jobs that are going to disappear and not worth really looking into, and other areas would be more interesting. So I will look at it now as if I was your big sister and you were to come to me and say, Isabel, I need some help, I'm young, I don't know what to do. I want to give you 3 tips today on how to get your idea sorted. So with this idea of the market rules everything, there's basically 3 ways to look at it. So the first one is the basic needs of humankind that will never disappear. So for me, the 3 would be shelter, food, and medical. Those, no matter what happens, will always be there. So whether there's a big economic downfall, there's new presidents coming into play, everything is just shifted around, people will always need these 3 things no matter what. So food, anything that's linked to supermarkets, import, export of goods, that will always be there. Restaurants, things like that. So if you go into these fields, you're pretty guaranteed, provided that you want to work in those fields, of course, that you will have a job. Now, the second thing would be real estate, shelter. People will always need shelter, and this is why sites like Airbnb do so well. Real estate, there's ups and downs, but people who work in this field tend to do very well. Especially if they understand the market and what type of opportunities are out there. So if you like also negotiating and you enjoy real estate in general, this is something that you'll never be out of a job. And of course, because it's linked to sales, which is a great skill to have anyways. So food, real estate, and the first one, medicine. Now I just want to put a little caveat into medicine, because of course medicine, if for example you work in fields such as a medical doctor or nurse, you have to be careful with transitioning over to a different country. Your diplomas may not be good and you have to start all over again. So this would only be as good as you stay in your country. Now, people on my channel tend to be international expats. So I would not recommend to do a long-term degree in medical if you plan to travel and live in different countries, because your diplomas would be worthless. So what you want to do instead, if you're interested in medical, is to pick something that you can do from everywhere. And now with the demand for well-being and alternative medicine, there's lots of things you could study. Chiropractor, you can do. I've also seen some essential oils and maybe also some type of alternative therapies, the Chinese medicine, etc. All these things, there's a really high demand for it. And you can do it from anywhere, because there's no real legal arena where you have to practice again with a certification or anything like that. It tends to be a little bit open still to most people. So I just wanted to show you the view behind me. It's really beautiful. So basically what you want to do is make sure that you pick something where you can transport with you. That's something I said before. If you want to become an international professional, make sure whatever you pick as a career is transferable. So make sure that you won't need to change certifications each time you move to a different country. That's going to be a big, big factor. So that's the first thing, stay with the basics that humankind will always need, and you won't be out of a job. Now, if you're a little bit more in the, let's say, long-term, high-tech type of thing, for example, you can go into engineering, you can go into artificial intelligence. So make sure that whatever you do is actually linked to that. So one thing that you can do is look at artificial intelligence. There's big data that's going to be huge in the next years. So if you're in engineering, for example, that's going to also be quite in demand. So if you like tech, this is what I would recommend to study in this day and age. Is really the tech industry is growing very fast. Cybersecurity, all these things, IT. So this is for people who are more tech oriented, or I would say scientific. So if you're in the scientific field, definitely you will enjoy tech. And this is a huge market for you if you're a student and you don't know what to do. Go into tech, really go into the hard sciences, because there's going to be a huge need for people to build these machines that will function for us, this artificial intelligence in the next year. So this is somewhere where you always have a job. And number 3 would be for the creative type. So if you're not into the basics, food, shelter, and medicine, if you're not really impressed with tech, that's not your thing, then go into creative fields. There's going to be a huge demand also in the next years where people will need all kinds of services. You know, there's huge growth for designers, you know, people who can look at things also creatively inside the company. So people who can actually reshuffle teams, and so creative management type of thing where you can maybe work differently. So if you have a creative mind, there's also going to be a space for you, but you also need to train your mind that way. Start something, so whatever you're doing creative, start a portfolio of it. So whether it's video-based, photo-based, written-based, you know, you're a good writer, start a portfolio, you know, just put out your work to the world and see if you have resonance. So if you write, just put something out to the web. If you do photos, same thing, and see if people like what you do, if you have some type of future with it. Because again, the problem with creative fields most of the time is that it's not really something you can sell very easily. So if you're a tech person, you know, you go to a tech corporate sector and they just hire you. If you're a creative person and you write, for example, for the web, you're a copywriter, unless you're very good and people like what you do, it's not going to be something that you can sell so easily. So this would be the last part of the video for creatives. Just test your creativity if you think that's what you're good at. Make sure you have traction or resonance from the market, and if that's the case, just go for it. And you will find people that enjoy actually what you're doing, and they will be happy to pay for your services. So if you have questions, comments, feel free to post below. I will talk to you soon.